Hello, today I am going to make eggless sponge cake. So the challenge is, if we can make a sponge cake, then we can make many other cakes, and we'll make tiramisu and black forest cake tomorrow. But the first challenge is, first we need to make this sponge cake. So let's start making sponge cake. For making this sponge cake, I'm going to take this one full bowl of all-purpose flour, that is maida. Okay. And take this flour in a bigger bowl. I'm using this unsalted butter and I'm going to melt it. It should be around half the amount of what we have taken this all-purpose flour. So it's almost half the amount. So I will melt this first. I felt this bowl might be smaller one for my mixture, so I have taken this bigger bowl to make the whole mixture of everything. If you have condensed milk, that is the best thing. Otherwise, I have taken this whole milk. It should do the job. So I have taken around 200 ml of whole milk for this, and I'm going to mix some sugar in. Sugar should be around half the amount of what we are taking the wheat flour. So it should be half the amount of our maida. And mix this sugar in the milk. If you have a food processor, that will be the best thing to mix, but it should be alright, because I have taken the granulated sugar. It mixes very fast and very quickly. You see, it's already almost mixed. In this, I have melted the butter, and I will mix this melted butter in this milk and the sugar syrup. Now mix them together. Quickly this mixture will be ready. All the sugar has been mixed and milk and this butter is ready. So now we are going to mix this mixture with our wheat flour. Add into it, and in this mixture add 1 spoon of this baking soda. We don't need to add much baking soda if we are using egg, but because we are not using egg, we need to add little more baking soda, so that it will help in raising our flour and it will be helpful in binding as well. So mix everything together. If you want to make it with the chocolate sponge cake, we can mix this cocoa powder. It should be around 20% of the wheat flour that we have used. So I will mix this cocoa powder in this, so that we will have a chocolate sponge cake. Now mix it. Now as you can see, it's quite dense. We are not going to mix any water in it. We will mix cola. You can mix any other flavor if you like. It can be thumbs up, Sprite, any carbonated water that you can get. So let's mix it. Add this into the mixture slowly. It's very lovely things to mix this Coke in our sponge cake. It helps this baking soda in raising fast. So, and don't worry if we have too much liquid in this mixture, because once we will put everything in the oven, this water will evaporate. And we also want to make very thin layer of our sponge cake, because we are not making egg sponge cake. So, and that's very helpful in binding. But this eggless sponge cake doesn't bind very well, so we need to make thin sheets of sponge cake. So this should be good. As you can see, our mixture for sponge cake is almost ready, and we have mixed it uniformly. You can see it. It's quite thin, so it will be helpful in spreading this in our baking tray. Okay, now prepare our baking tray. What I will do is, on the baking tray I will apply little bit of butter so that this will not get stuck with the baking tray, and always use non-stick baking tray. That's always helpful. This is my big baking tray. As you can see, the thickness is not very much, so because if the thickness will be too much, the cake might get very thick as well, and it will not be cooked properly. So don't take very thick baking tray. Take this with a thin edge, and as you can see, it is also non-stick. So but I will still apply little butter over this surface, so it will help in taking my cake out of this baking tray once it will be cooked. Then I will warm this baking tray in the oven, and then I will apply a little bit of butter over it. Once the baking tray is hot, spread some butter over it so that our sponge cake will not get stuck with the tray. I will spread butter all over the tray, and now I will take my mixture and start pouring uniformly. You don't have to be very accurate with the uniformity, but try so that it goes everywhere on the tray, and try to make it uniform, just to shake the baking tray so that it will be everywhere uniformly. It looks very nice already, but it will be even better. So what I have done, I will heat my oven to around 200 degrees Celsius, and then I will switch it, reduce to 100 degrees, and in the meantime you can enjoy this little bit. When no one is looking at you, you can have this thing. It's very nice. I have heated my oven to around 200 degrees Celsius, and I will keep this heat between 150 to 200. After 5 minutes I will reduce the heating, so it's quite hot. Be careful because the tray is quite heavy. Okay, push it inside and leave it for around 20 minutes. Here is our eggless sponge cake. You can see that the slices are very nice and thick, spongy. They don't look in shape because I forgot to put the baking paper, and I thought that it will come out, but it didn't turn out that way. But if we had used baking paper, it would have been very flat and smooth, but still it will taste good. Let me very good. I like it. So enjoy making eggless sponge cake. It's a wonderful experience, and we can have very big cake and we can eat it for almost a week if we keep in the refrigerator. So enjoy it, and don't forget to use baking paper. It will help you taking out the cake. Thank you.